So you must use this language in order to pass. And I'm just dealing with passing here, okay? So I'm not dealing with the fancy formulas because you don't need them. So this here, rules of thumb, give a 95% confidence interval. Okay, so that's why you have to say with 95% confidence. However, it's not exact, it's only a mathematical model, so that's why you have to say estimate. So let's imagine that we're talking about year 13 students, and what proportion would we say? Like stats. Okay, so let's imagine that in this sample, hands up who likes statistics? Not today. I'm going to say 10%. 10% of people are liking statistics. In our sample, we're going to pretend that this is a representative sample. How many people in this class? Let's just pretend that there's 25. So 1 over the square root of 25, right, is 1 over 5, am I right? Which is what? 20%. Okay. So it makes a mockery because I can't go negative, so I'm going to just pretend for the purpose of this that 30% of you liked it. So we're having a bad day. So let's imagine our sample percentage was 30%. And our margin of error, because we had a tiny sample size, was 20%. All right? With 95% confidence, I estimate the proportion of New Zealand statistics level 3 students who like statistics is between, can you do it? 30 minus 20. So between 10%, so that would be 10%, and 50%.
Do you write this where you talk about the confidence interval?
Yeah. So for all of the rules of thumb, so that's 1, 2, 3 rules of thumb. That was a bad colour. Sorry. 1, 2, 3 rules of thumb. For all of those, start the sentence with 95% confidence I estimate, with 95% confidence I estimate, with 95% confidence I estimate. Okay, so if you learn with 95% confidence I estimate, you are part way there. The next thing you have to have in those sentences is the population. So you've got to read the report and find out what the population is. The other thing you've got to have is what proportion is it. So when I said with 95% confidence I estimate the proportion of New Zealand statistics students, that's my population. Who likes stats is my proportion. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then for this first one, well, for all of them, basically, if the proportions are less than 30 or greater than 70, you just need to say, oh, my rule of thumb overstates the error. That's all you have to say. So the next one, the comparing of groups, with 95% confidence, I estimate. Now, population proportion difference, what I mean is, if you look down here, I estimate the percentage of New Zealand cat owners, so that is the population, who prefer to keep to themselves is the proportion, is somewhere between this lower and that higher, or if they're both higher, it's between this and that higher, than the corresponding percentage of dog owners. So it's that sentence structure you need. So the things to tick off is, with 95% confidence I estimate, the next thing to tick off is, have you got the population in there? And have you got the proportion that you're saying you're reporting on or that you're comparing to? Am I making sense? Yep. Okay. Now there's really cool resources. Oh, I found that one for the excellence people. That's actually quite nice. But you know, the excellence stuff is really at uni level. Okay, so if you're at that level, that's quite a good one. So if I go back, that was our sentence structure for one of the internals. So this is a similar thing that we have to say. Can anyone remember? Can we say it together? With 95% confidence, I estimate. And again, with 95% confidence, I estimate. Right, let's go back to reports. And where was I going? All testing claims in the media. If you go here and here.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, guys, just for examples, this one says with 95% confidence we can infer, I prefer the word estimate, that the percentage of adult New Zealanders with health insurance will have, so the percentage of adult New Zealanders with health insurance is what? Come on, population, thank you. So where was it? So here I've got with 95% confidence, and I'm going to say I estimate, because that's what the mark scheme says, that the percentage of adult New Zealanders with health insurance, so adult New Zealanders with health insurance is what? The population who had a cholesterol check is the proportion. Okay? Because we're looking at everyone who's got health insurance and we're saying, well, how many of them, what proportion of them had a cholesterol check? To pass this, this is called being in context, and you need to be in context. Otherwise, it might be a no-go. During the previous 12 months, so that's still part of the proportion, is somewhere between this value and that value. So that was your sample proportion. The little hat means it's a sample proportion, not a population proportion. There's your margin of error using the rule of thumb, 1 over root n. You get the 2.6. You take 2.6 off and you add 2.6 on, so you get this range. Okay? So what I'm trying to make clear is that this sentence includes the population, the proportion, then the range, the confidence interval. And at the front of it we go with 95% confidence, I estimate. Has that helped anyone? Yeah, okay.